Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today, we are discussing a millennial watch, launched in the year 2000 in 250 pieces in red gold. It is the Lange Tourbillon. This watch, 38.5 millimeters in rose gold, fits my 16 centimeter circumference wrist perfectly. It's slim for a Tourbillon 3-day power reserve, 9.9 millimeters thick. It will slide under any dress cuff. You'll also note lug-to-lug. It's nicely constrained at 46.8 millimeters. You could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. The spacing between the lugs, should you wish to accessorize, is 20 millimeters, and you will have a bevy of OEM and aftermarket options at that size. The strap, large rectangular scale alligator leather, folded edge monotone stitch. It is a dark brown, and it has calfskin on the underside with Lange's distinctive pin buckle and its strangulation retention system, I like to call it. It's a bar for those of us who like to strap our watches down tightly to prevent one end of the strap from becoming pinned on the pin, so to speak. It makes it easier to remove the watch when buckled tightly. The case is standard Lange 1, which is to say nicely executed, nicely proportioned, a little bit vintage in its sensibility, with mid-century style stepped out lugs, and then all of high polish with a few strong horizontals, principally defined by the junction between bezel, mid-case, and case back. Jumping straight into the dial, because that is the attraction with this watch. Let's afford ourselves a bit more light. You can see that it is a classical Lange 1 in most respects. It has a pusher system that allows you to cycle the panorama datum or the outsized date, and of course the watch with a register for hours and minutes, alpha style hands, all rose gold indices and stylized quarter Romans. The alpha hands looming over a small second subdial inset, and that's the only portion of the conventional Lange 1 that's really been displaced by the tourbillon aperture. And let's see how close we can get to that to keep things in focus. You will note a few distinctive features of this tourbillon aperture. First, the half bridge is entirely black polished, the highest level of optical perfection. You will also note that this watch features not one but two cut diamonds as the capstones to the tourbillon staff, so the actual balance staff, or the staff on which the tourbillon is rotating. I should distinguish between them. The balance staff is for the balance. The tourbillon has its own axis and its own column, and it is bounded on both sides by a cut diamond. There are two cut diamonds inside this movement. Otherwise, there are 49 functional jewels, many of which are fixed in golden, screw-secured chaton. Going back to the dial quickly, you can see that there is an overcoil hairspring inside the tourbillon. If you can't quite see it, it's there. It helps the tourbillon to keep superb beating and timekeeping in any orientation with respect to gravity. Adding an overcoil to a tourbillon compounds the virtues of the tourbillon, trying to equalize the effects of gravity, especially since a wristwatch cannot be predicted in any given position for very long. Power reserve scale, 72 hours or 3 days, visible at the 3 o'clock side of the dial, and you will note everything, including the filigree style tourbillon carriage, black polished. Turning it all over, you can see the movement. This is a Lange proprietary caliber, as ever, 3/4 style bridge, jewels set in chaton, Baroque freehand engraving. Let's see how close I can get and not lose the focus. That's probably it right there. But you can see the freehand engraving of the structures bearing the fourth wheel in a sensational spiral pattern, and then the tourbillon carriage itself. The screws that are blue are kiln-fired, oxidized blued screws, not chemically dyed. You will note when I turn the watch flush to the camera, you start to see the chamfering at the edge of the bridges light up because there is that mirrored anglage, or anglage as we would call it in French-speaking watch regions. You'll also note the movement crafted entirely of nickel, copper, zinc, or German silver, the copper giving it that golden hue. And of course, Glashütte stripes, you will note, across the bridge, because we are not in Switzerland, they are not Côte de Genève, and a micro perlage across the base plate. I could look at this all day, but frankly, part of the fun of the Lange 1 tourbillon is that it gives you much of the appeal of a Lange caseback on the dial side. In that respect, it is a rare commodity among rare commodities. Any Lange is special, especially from a company that at its peak makes 5,000 watches a year. But a 250-piece 18-year-old Lange tourbillon complication in a 38.5mm size. Well, the world needs more of them. There aren't enough of them, and frankly, I'm falling in love with this watch as I share it. I will say there is one thing I should note about this movement. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it does not feature the later hacking seconds or stop seconds functionality. This is the original Lange Caliber 961.1. The 961.3 currently sold is identical in every respect except it has a stop seconds function for the tourbillon that doubles as the seconds subdial. So just keep in mind that the timepiece back in 2000 was a bit more elemental. Today you can stop the tourbillon and seconds subdial using a hacking seconds function on the latest versions, but this and only this can claim to be the first and my favorite, the Lange 1 tourbillon. See it on the watch box.